Hiya and welcome to my channel. Today I thought I would do a video about the uni course that I'm doing, the degree I'm going to get, and kind of just a general summary of why I chose to go down the route that I chose to go down, what that's meant for me, what it includes, and what it will mean at the end of it. So if you couldn't tell already from the title of this video, I'm training to be a primary school teacher and I've gone to uni to do a degree where at the end of it I'll be qualified to get a job in a school. When I was at sixth form and kind of looking for routes to go down, I was really trying to find videos like this of the different options that made it clear what you had to do for each one, what it entailed, but there wasn't really many out there. So I hope if you're in my position and looking for these kind of videos, this helps you in kind of confirming what you want to do or make you feel more comfortable with the choice that you've made. So there are a few routes that you can go down in order to become a primary school teacher. Obviously it's a bit different if you're becoming a secondary school teacher because you often need a specialism. You're either like an English teacher or a maths teacher. You're not really fluid in all the subjects. Whereas obviously a primary school teacher, you teach normally all the subjects to one year group rather than across the year groups. So the first option, which was actually my backup option if I didn't get onto the course that I wanted to do, is to do a degree and then something called a PGCE. So I think to become a primary school teacher, you can actually do a degree in anything first. You just have to obviously pass the degree, and it's just an undergraduate course in order to enable you to get onto the postgraduate course, which is what the PGCE is. Basically, the PGCE is a year course that you do after your degree, which is the teacher training squished into 1 year. So you can actually do this two ways. You can either go through the university and attend obviously lectures and things like that and do placements, or you can do it in school. So I think you're always associated with a uni, but basically you're in school for the whole year and that's how you gain all your experience and knowledge and stuff, but I think you still have to do assignments either way. Obviously most degree courses are 3 years, so if you go down that route you'll have the 3-year course and then you'll have the 1-year PGCE, so overall that's 4 years to qualify. The next route that you can go down, I don't really know very much about this one, I didn't really look into it when I was looking, but it's on the job training. So I think there's different providers, I've seen adverts for it on telly and stuff like that, but basically you're just in school and you're just training to be a teacher. I think you observe other teachers, you're obviously in the class, you teach for yourself, you plan lessons, everything like that, but you're literally in school the whole time. And then there's the course which I went down, which is a degree, a 3-year course at university called Primary Education with QTS. So QTS is Qualified Teacher Status, which is basically what you need to become a teacher. It basically means that you've met the teacher standards, you're good enough to be a teacher. In order to gain the QTS, you need to have had a certain amount of days in school, and obviously from all of the routes you'll have placements in school, you'll have had time in different settings to kind of really gain a good understanding. And any of the routes that I've mentioned, no matter which one you go down, you will always gain this QTS, so you'll always be qualified in the same way. It's just which one you think suits you best. I go to Bishop Grosseteste University. Not sure if anyone really knows how to say it, but it's in Lincoln and I've just finished my 2nd year, which is crazy how quickly it's gone. I know that literally everyone says that. So like I mentioned, the course is 3 years. So next summer I'll graduate, I'll have finished everything, I'll know what degree class I've got, and next September, fingers crossed, I'll have a job in a school and I'll be ready to start teaching. Basically there's a year, your first year of teaching is called your NQT year and you have to pass it. I think you kind of have a mentor or the school kind of guides you through it, supports you, that kind of thing. And then once you're in that, you're just literally fully fledged teacher. It's great. So I'm kind of going to break down what my course at my university looks like. Obviously it won't be the same if you're doing the same degree somewhere else, but I'm sure it'll be a similar thing. You obviously learn about the same things if you're going to be a teacher. In your first year you do 6 modules, in your 2nd year you also do 6 modules, and then in your 3rd year you do 5 modules. And this is because in your 3rd year they drop one of the modules off and then one of them becomes double credits. Basically your first year doesn't actually count towards your final degree. You have to pass every assignment and you have to obviously try hard to obviously do well. but you just have to pass that year, but none of your grades or anything goes towards your final degree classification. It's just your second and third year. So in second year, the 6 modules each count for 20 credits each, and in third year, 4 of the modules count for 20 credits, and one of them obviously counts for 40 credits. Each of the modules that I've mentioned are broken down into a code, and that is kind of how you associate what you've been doing. On your timetable, it appears with that code, so you know what module you'll be doing that day in lectures, things like that. So each of them starts with PE, and that stands for primary education. So all of your modules, all of your time at university will kind of start in the same way and kind of have the same rhythm to them. It goes PE1, PE2 or PE3, and that kind of just depicts what year you're in. So obviously 1 is first year, 2 is second year, 3 is third year. And then the next number is 3, so it's PE13, PE23 or PE33. And I'm not 100% sure what that 3 means, but I think it's just kind of the course that they're on. So obviously they reinvent the course, make it better, change a few things. Obviously they want to keep it up to date, and I think this is the third kind of go at that. I'm not really sure 100%, but I know that the course that they're doing now, I am in the second year that they're running it, so it's quite a new one that they're doing, really up to date. We talk about really recent things, we obviously talk about the history and stuff too, but everything is really looking into the future, like how can we make it the best we can when we actually qualify. And then the last number on the module code is associating what module it actually is. So these are numbered 1 to 6. Like I said, there's 6 modules overall. These actually lead on every year. So if it ends in a 1, you do 1, 1, 1 in first year, second year and third year. And like I mentioned, in third year you only do 5 modules, and that is because there is no such thing as PE 336. There is double credits on the dissertation module, and that is why there is no such thing as PE 336, hence there being 5 modules. We're just focusing on the last numbers, so 1 to 6. The numbers ending in 1 are the core subjects. So obviously you learn about these every year of the degree. It's really important to teaching. You literally teach maths, English and science all the time, pretty much every day when you're in school. So in the first year you kind of focus on what the core subjects are, stuff like that. In the second year you build on it a bit more, and I'm assuming in the third year you will obviously gain such good knowledge, like you're always building on what you've already learned. The modules ending in 2 are focusing on the foundation subjects. The foundation subjects are basically any other subject you can think of: history, geography, computing, modern foreign languages, stuff like that. And RE is actually not included in the national curriculum for the foundation subjects, but most schools still teach it as part of the curriculum, it's just not statutory. The modules ending in 3 are the research modules. So in the first year you kind of have a look at what research is and kind of gain a good idea of how people do it and have a look at some different people's research. In second year you do your own research and write about it, and in the third year that is your dissertation module. So that is the one that is double credits, PE 333, 40 credits. So it's basically like if you got 70 on it, it's like getting 2 70s, but you just get 1. The next module code is 4, and that is a placement module. That's an interesting one because that kind of goes alongside something else as well. Like I mentioned, the QTS is a bit different to the degree. You have to complete the degree, get the degree, and you also have to get the QTS. So the placement module, in first year, I don't think you do an assignment on it, but in second year you do, and that counts towards your degree. But every year when you're on placement, you do something called, I think it's SCH 004 in first year, 005 in second year, and 006 in third year. And that basically counts up all your days in school, the ages you've had experience with, the subjects that you've taught, and basically rounding up all that experience helps you to gain your QTS. And you keep a record of that right from your first year through to your third year. So you probably won't forget anything you've done because it's all in one place. The modules ending in 5 are about theory, practice, the history of education, the future of education, things like that. And it's really interesting because you kind of have little debates, you really learn about education, the approaches that you can take, the strategies that you can do, and kind of really helps you to develop what kind of teacher you think you want to be. And finally, the module code ending in 6 is all about inclusion and behaviour. So I think in first year you focus mainly on behaviour, and second year you focus more on inclusion and special educational needs and disability. You just do ones ending in 6 in first year and second year. Overall, I would say you probably have lectures 3 to 4 days a week. You obviously don't have these all day, every day. Some days are just mornings, some are just afternoons, but you can expect some days to be like 9 till 5. Obviously you get lunch breaks, tea and wee breaks, stuff like that. Obviously, like I mentioned, you need to do placements to gain school experience. So every year of your degree, you do 2 placements. One is a block placement, and then you do a smaller one with another purpose. So in the autumn of first year, you do an introductory school experience, which I think is 10 days spread across 3 weeks in school. And that is basically just introducing you to being in school as the role of the teacher. Obviously, you've probably had other experiences or, I don't know, volunteering before, but not in the role of the teacher. So you get to observe it, kind of get used to the class routines, look at different strategies the teacher uses, and you don't do any teaching on that placement. It's purely just observational. You might take different groups and do activities, but not planning lessons and then teaching them. Then in the summer of first year, you have a block placement. So for all the block placements, you have a week at the start of them called a preliminary week, which everyone just calls prelim week, which is basically you're in the school and you're just getting used to the routines, making relationships with the children, the staff, getting used to it just so you're settled in, ready to start teaching. Then you have 6 more weeks in that school where you build up your teaching. In the first week, you might just do an English and a maths lesson, and then you build it up. And by the end of that, you will be teaching 50% of the time, which might sound a bit scary, but it's not that bad. On that placement as well, you're paired. So you're with someone else on the course doing the same thing, going through the exact same worries and stuff like that. So you can really work together on planning lessons and sharing ideas, which is great. So in second year, you have 2 placements as well. In the autumn term, you have a week in school in either a special educational needs setting or in a multicultural school. The purpose of this is obviously to open your eyes to something you might not have seen before, experience it, maybe see some different approaches or strategies. With some additional needs, they will obviously need to take different precautions, or in a multicultural setting, there might be children who speak different languages. They might not have very good understanding of the English language, so what do they do to combat that? And then in the spring of second year, you have a block placement, 1 week prelim, and then 7 weeks teaching. You start off slow every time on the block placements, but by the end of your second year placement, you'll build up to 80% teaching time. And then finally, in your third year, you actually start with the block placement in the autumn term, which is 1 week prelim and then 8 weeks in school. You start off slow again, but by the end of that placement, you're actually teaching all the time. So basically, you have taken over from the role of the teacher. You are in charge of the class, you're planning all the lessons, doing all the lessons, which is kind of scary to think that will be me in October, but also really exciting. One thing that is really good about my university and my course, I think it specifically, is that you get assigned a personal tutor. So this person is with you from first year, right on the day when you first go in and meet anyone on your course, right until the end of third year. So when you first start on the course, you have a day where you have a huge cohort meet. So everyone who's on the course is in one place, kind of you get to know the lecturers, you get to meet everyone, and you get assigned your groups. I think there's probably a group of 10 and you all have the same personal tutor. You officially meet with your personal tutor, I think it's 2 or 3 times a year, and you fill out a form, kind of how you're getting on, your experiences, what you're thinking, stuff like that. But you can literally email them anytime, and they're always happy to meet you, support you, give you advice, no matter what you need. One thing that is really, really good is that you can actually send your personal tutor, I think it's up to 10% of your assignment. So say you're writing and you're not really sure if you're getting the right thing, they can have a look at the assignment brief and kind of let you know if you're along the right lines or give you any advice on how they think you can make it better. The main apps that the uni use are an app called MyBGU and Blackboard Learn, which I know a few people had seen or used before they came to uni, but I hadn't. So the MyBGU app lets you see your timetables, your calendar, what's coming up, access to the library, any ebooks and stuff like that. You can check your emails, everything like that. So with the university, you have access to all of the Microsoft packages, so like Word, PowerPoint, Excel, Outlook, I don't know what else there is really, but everything like that, you have access to all of that for free. And then the Blackboard app is where you can find all of your PowerPoints, resources. If you do group work, you can post it there. Sometimes they want you to upload stuff onto there. But also on Blackboard, that is where you submit all of your assignments. So there's kind of a few different ways that they do assignments. There's not a one size fits all. Normally, if you're good at one type, doesn't mean you're good at every type. So they like to do a few different ones so then everyone has an opportunity for something that they will be really good at. The first thing that really intrigued me to this course was there is no exams, and literally I hate exams. They just make me feel really stressed, and I never like them at school or at sixth form, anything. They just really stress me out. So there's written assignments, which are like essays, just like what you'd normally do. These are normally between about 2,000 and 4,000 words. Except your dissertation, which I think is about 7,500. Then you have presentations as well. Normally these are in groups. So for the modules ending in 2, the ones surrounding the foundation subjects, in first year and second year, this was both a group presentation. So you do get to choose your own groups for this one, and you pick a topic to focus on based on kind of the assignment brief, everything like that. And you complete a project, have a project book and do the presentation. I think it's to about 2 or 3 lecturers. There's then assess tutorials. I've not actually had one of these, but I was meant to have one before coronavirus hit, but they obviously had to change it because it all went to online learning and you can't really go and sit with someone if you're social distancing like that. But basically in these assess tutorials, you would sit with a couple of lecturers and they'd ask you questions. I think you know the questions before, so you can kind of pre-plan, but it's best not to go by a script really, just let it be a bit more natural. My one was meant to be about my placement, so talk about my experiences, strengths, weaknesses, kind of reflect on the whole thing. The final one I can think of is online discussions. Basically, you get set a question or a few questions over a period of time, about 10 days, and you kind of use literature research, things you find online, your experiences, everything like that to answer the questions, kind of debate it, learn people's ideas, gain new ideas, stuff like that. The final thing I wanted to talk about was the assignment grading. So you get your feedback for your assignments via Blackboard. So in the same way that you turn it in via Turnitin, on Blackboard you get it back in the same way, and I think it's after 20 working days. All the submissions are at 12 o'clock midday and you get all of your assignments back at 9 AM. So like I said, in first year you just have to pass, and a pass is out of 40. So all of these can kind of be percentages because it's obviously out of 100, so 40% is a pass. So you need to get 40 at least on all of your assignments in first year in order to move on to second year. And a 40, everyone just kind of describes it as a pass. Between 50 and 59, that is known as a 2-2. Between 60 and 69, that is known as a 2-1. And 70 to 100 is a first. So you might hear people like, oh my god, I got a first, like crazy. But that basically means like they've done the best they can. They could be getting like 71 or they could be getting like 90 something. I mean, I don't really hear people get like 90s, but obviously the first is the best you can get. Like if you can get a first, that's pretty cool. Thank you for watching this video. I really hope this has helped you if you've managed to make it this far anyway. And if you have any questions, please feel free to comment them below because I'll be happy to help. Please give this video a thumbs up if you've enjoyed it, if it's helped you in any way, and see you soon. Thank you, bye!